forest, full of cedar trees, ash, hemlock. And high above the treetops, the birds of your thoughts flit and fly about, held in the expanse of sky, the expanse of great mind. And they're buoyed by currents, the invisible winds. And a little deeper down below the tree line, the squirrels and the ants scamper up and down and along the branches. And they're forging ahead, making steady progress on your plans and your projects and your tasks. And cocoons hold the liquefied promise of your becoming, dangling in the dappled light. And deeper still, all the way down, resting on the forest floor, listen. You can hear the soft whine and creak of the tree trunks swaying gently in the wind. The slow dance of your forest guardians. Can you feel the steadiness here? The weight, the deep, silent roots. Can you sense the depths of peace drinking down into this moment? And in this forest within you, this great ancient wild forest, with all the sunshine and the rain and the leaves and the animals and the roots, there is a wild woman who comes to visit from time to time. Now, some see this woman actually as a little child, with endlessly curious eyes and long braids swinging about and mud on her bare feet as she skips among the river stones. And other people say, no, she's not a child, she's a mother. And she walks around and picks up each creature, rocking it and singing a soothing song. And still other people say, a mother? No, this wild woman is a vice, a vixen, a lover. She tantalizes us. She oozes the erotic with every swish of her hips. And the fire of a tigress in heat burns in the irises of her eyes. And of course, there are always those who swear that she is an old hag, a crone, with more wrinkles etched into her face than there are stars in the sky. So old that every trouble, every obstruction in life just makes her cackle with the amusement of hard-won wisdom. But you see, these are all true because this wild woman is a shapeshifter. How could she ever be just one? It would be like asking the mysteries of water to choose between liquid, ice, or cloud, once and for all. It makes her giggle. And some people fear her. They say she's scary. They say she's unwell. She's unclean. She's kind of gross. She's inappropriate. Too much. While others go chasing after her, heavy and drunk with desire, needing her gaze to make them feel alive. And then there are those rare folk who have actually befriended her, who open their doors to her when they hear her hoot and whistle, and invite her in for some tea or a glass of fine whiskey. What's her name? She goes by many. La Hucera, Bone Woman. La Trapera, the Gatherer. And for our story, we call her La Loba, the Wolf Woman. no matter how La Loba is received, no matter what anybody thinks of her, she simply is. La Loba is unapologetic. Nothing to prove. A woman with nothing to prove. You see, La Loba knows herself from the inside of her own heart. And she has fallen deliriously, madly, in love with the river of aliveness that flows from its center. So naturally, she roams through the inner forests of all women, of all people, really, drawn always towards the throb of life that pulses in each heart. You know this. We all know this. It beats freely within you this very moment. And so she makes her way, banging her drum beater on the numb places inside of us, mumbling a dirty joke here or there, just to make the heat rise in our cheeks. And most importantly, she goes around collecting, gathering our scattered, dry, dusty bones. La Loba stalks around the home, the office, the busy downtown streets of our inner and outer lives, searching, gathering. Sometimes you can even make out the curve of her long, talon-like fingers as they grip around a bone underfoot. La Loba, she creeps, she crawls, she dances through the night. La Loba, she flits, she flies, she screeches and she cries. She gathers the bones, she gathers the bones, she sees what's hard to find. She gathers the bones, she gathers the bones of all that's left behind. La Loba, she creeps, she crawls, she dances through the night. La Loba, she flits, she flies, she screeches and she cries. She gathers the bones, she gathers the bones, she sees what's hard to find. She gathers the bones, she gathers the bones of all that's left behind. Now these bones, what are these bones? These bones are what others have told us and what we've told ourselves has either died or gone forever numb inside of us. Maybe for you it's a sense of true spontaneity or a beaming, unapologetic self-confidence. Maybe it's being loud or being messy or sexual or deeply emotional. The bones La Loba goes around gathering are the fallout, the consequence of a life lived a little too boxed in by shoulds and should-nots. They are the bits and pieces of an aliveness that knows itself from within and doesn't try to become like another. So you might notice a bone getting snatched up when you feel a wave of desire flash through you, or when you feel the impulse to say something a little odd, a little too brash, or too direct for polite society. Perhaps La Loba finds a bone when you let out a groan, a wail, a seductive sigh, or a cackle escapes your throat before you have a chance to grab it back in. When you want to be seen in your radiance, there's a bone. And on she goes, faithfully collecting, always in her basket, until she has found every last bone, And then she carefully sets them all out in their shape and order, and she makes a ring of protection. So what's a ring of protection? And why? You see, in this wild forest within you, there are predators. And I'm not talking about the predators who hunt to eat and survive and live and to nourish their young. I'm not talking about the predators who hunt in the service of life. No, these are predators who are afraid. These predators are afraid of anything that lies beyond the bounds of the shoulds and oughts. Our news headlines, our magazine covers, our religious and spiritual rules, the bounds of what is deemed beautiful and sexy are frumpy and dull. And listen carefully, my sisters, because almost always these predators live in our very own minds and the tensions and contractions of our very own muscles. Perhaps you can feel it right now. So deeply habituated. This predator of fear. And these predators will say things like, gathering bones? Really? That's so stupid. What are you doing? You're just going around in the woods by yourself? That's so woo-woo. You're not cool enough for this. You're not strong enough. You're not pretty enough. People don't like you enough to be able to really do this kind of thing. So just stop. Just stop. Please stop. And they hunt because they're afraid. And they don't trust what is intuitive, what is mystery, and what is unknown. But La Loba, she knows these predators so well. She makes her ring of protection with stomping feet, with hissing snarls and a furrowed brow. But most of all, she makes her ring of protection with awareness, with presence. Because La Loba knows from all her thousands and thousands of years on this earth that when you can fix a calm, steady hawk eye on the voice of this judge, it can't attack. Its power and poison lies in the shadows, out of sight. So with her ring of protection secured, La Loba then begins her most sacred of rituals. She begins to sing to the bones. So what does that mean? To sing to our bones. And how do you even do that? But of course, we do know. We know because we are more than the flit and flutter of our clever, buzzing, busy, thinking, measuring minds. We are not just floating heads roaming a few feet above the soil. To sing to the bones is to first descend, to drop down into the aliveness of the body, whatever it is. And from deep in the root, the pelvis, the belly, the heart, comes expression, a liquid light shining out a simple message that pours into the old, forgotten, deadened bones of our inherent being. And the message is simply this: I am here. I am real. here I am. Down, 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 I am sinking down to the soul's deep ground. I feel around. Down, 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 I am sinking down to the soul's deep ground. I feel around. In the dark, I welcome all the parts of the secret heart, an ancient art. In the dark, I welcome all the parts of the secret heart, an ancient art. For some of us, the expression could be singing, but for some of us it might be speaking, writing a love letter, a poem to our own heart. It might be salty tears bubbling up from our depths, or a howl in the night. Or it might be a gurgling of whispered secrets revealed to ourselves. And perhaps it's a dance or movement, letting the arms and legs be expressed by the current of the moment. And sometimes it's a pure, simple expression of silence, of beholding the bones and letting them begin to soften and glow in the warmth of your attention. Remember, you are a shapeshifter. Expression is never just one thing. La Loba's singing includes all of this, and so much more, for she is always present in the moments of unbridled creativity. And as she sings, no matter how long it takes, be it an instant or a lifetime, and this is always going on in you, by the way, the bones begin to heat, to moisten, to regrow outward from the deep marrow, new tissues, muscles, blood, the old firmament of life made new. And as she sings, dancing about, one steely hawkeye gazing steadily at those silenced predators, it simply, incredibly happens. These old, worthless, forgotten bones regrow themselves into a dazzling, amber-eyed, long-tailed wolf. It stretches its legs, shakes its torso, lets out a soft whine at first, and gradually a full-bellied howl, and sets off running. Now some say that if the moonlight shafts through the old cedar trees just so, you might catch the wolf standing up on two legs, dancing itself gracefully into a naked wild woman, laughing in unspeakable joy as her soul runs free.